The house was too quiet now. It had been quiet for 3 months ever since the funeral. The 16-year-old girl walked through the front door after school and dropped her bag on the floor. She looked at the living room and felt her chest get tight. The piano sat against the wall like it always had, but nobody played it anymore. Nobody would ever play it again. Her mother had loved that piano. She had taught piano lessons right here in this house, 20 students every week, little kids learning their first songs, teenagers preparing for exams, adults who always wanted to learn, but never had the chance when they were young. The girl remembered coming home from school and hearing music. Always music. Her mother's fingers moving across the keys, a student playing slowly, carefully. Her mother's voice saying kind things, saying try again, saying that was beautiful. Now there was only silence. The girl walked closer to the piano but did not touch it. Dust covered the top. She could see it in the afternoon light coming through the window. 3 months of dust. 3 months of nothing. She heard footsteps behind her. Her aunt came into the room. Her mother's sister had come from another city to help after the funeral. She had stayed to make sure the girl was okay, to help with all the things that needed to be done. "We need to talk, love," her aunt said. Her voice was soft but serious. The girl knew what was coming. They had avoided this conversation for weeks, but it could not be avoided forever. "The bills came again today," her aunt continued. "The electricity, the water, the council tax, and the mortgage payment is due next week." The girl nodded slowly. She understood. She was 16, but she was not stupid. She knew how money worked. She knew her mother had paid for everything with the money from teaching piano. Now there was no teaching. No students. No money coming in. Her father had left when she was 3 years old. She barely remembered him. There were no grandparents to help. No rich relatives. No savings account with enough money to make everything okay. Just this house. This small house with 3 bedrooms in a normal neighborhood. And whatever they could sell. "I've been looking for work," the girl said quietly. "But nobody wants to hire someone who's still in school, and I need to finish school." "Mom would have wanted me to finish school." Her aunt nodded. "I know, sweetheart. I know she would. But we need to think about the short term, too, about the next few months." She paused. "The piano. Have you thought about the piano?" The girl felt something cold move through her body. "What about it?" "It's worth money. Quite a bit, probably. We could sell it. Use the money for the bills, to keep you in this house." It was hers. The words came out harder than the girl meant them to. "I know it was. But she's gone, love, and she would want you to be practical. She would want you to keep a roof over your head." The girl looked at the piano again. It was just wood and metal and strings. That was all it was. But it felt like more than that. It felt like the last piece of her mother that was still here, still real, still touchable. "How much?" she asked. "I don't know exactly. Maybe a few £100. Maybe more. We could call someone to come look at it." The girl shook her head. "No, I'll handle it." That night after her aunt went to bed, the girl sat at the computer. She opened a website where people sold things, furniture, books, old clothes, everything. She typed carefully, "Piano for sale. Upright piano. Good condition. Must pick up." Then she stopped. She needed to put a price. She looked at other pianos people were selling. Some were expensive. £1,000, £1,500. Some were cheaper. 500, 300. She wanted it gone quickly. She could not have it in the house anymore. Every time she looked at it, she felt like she could not breathe. She typed the price. £150. It was low. She knew it was low, but she did not care. She just wanted it over with. She clicked the button. The ad went live. Piano for sale. £150. The girl closed the computer and went upstairs. She did not cry. She had run out of tears weeks ago. She just felt empty, like something had been taken out of her chest and nothing had been put back. In her bedroom, she looked at the photos on her wall. Her mother at the piano. Her mother at her last recital. Her mother teaching a little boy who was so small his feet could not reach the pedals. The girl turned off the light and got into bed. She stared at the ceiling in the dark. Tomorrow someone would see the ad. Tomorrow someone would want to buy the piano. Tomorrow it would be gone, and maybe she thought maybe that would make things easier. Maybe without the piano in the house, she could stop thinking about her mother every single minute. Maybe she could start to move forward. But deep down, she knew that was not true. The piano leaving would not change anything. The silence would still be there. The emptiness would still be there. Her mother would still be gone. The next morning, the girl woke up to a message on her phone. Someone wanted the piano. His name was Roger. He said he could come on Saturday morning to look at it. He said if it was in good condition, he would take it. The girl wrote back, "Saturday is fine. 10 o'clock. She did not ask any questions. She did not want to know who this Roger was or why he wanted a piano. She just wanted the transaction to be quick and simple. He would come. He would give her the money. He would take the piano away. Done. Saturday came too fast. The girl barely slept on Friday night. She kept thinking about her mother, about the day they bought the piano together. The girl had been 7 years old. Her mother had saved money for 2 years to buy it. "This piano is going to change our lives," her mother had said. "I'm going to teach from home. I'm going to be here when you come home from school. We're going to fill this house with music," and she had. For 9 years, she had filled the house with music. Now the music was over. At 10 o'clock exactly, the doorbell rang. The girl's aunt was at the shops. The girl was alone. She opened the door. A man stood there. He was old, maybe 70 or 75. He had silver hair and kind eyes. He wore a thick sweater even though it was not very cold outside. "You must be the young lady selling the piano," he said. He smiled. "I'm Roger Taylor. Not the famous drummer, mind you. Just a regular fellow who happens to have the same name." The girl did not smile back. "It's in the living room." She led him inside. He followed her slowly. When he saw the piano, he stopped walking. He just stood there looking at it. His face changed. It became softer somehow, sadder. "May I?" he asked, gesturing toward the piano. The girl nodded. Roger walked forward like he was approaching something sacred. He ran his hand along the wood, gently, like he was touching something precious. Then he lifted the lid that covered the keys. He pressed one key in the middle. The note rang out clear and pure. It echoed in the quiet room. The girl felt tears burn behind her eyes. She had not expected that. The sound. After 3 months of silence, that single note felt like a knife. "Your mother kept this in beautiful condition," Roger said quietly. He turned to look at the girl. "This was your mother's piano, wasn't it?" The girl's mouth opened. "How did you know?" Roger looked at the girl with those kind, sad eyes. "I recognize the address," he said. "My granddaughter used to take lessons here. 4 years ago, before we moved away." The girl's heart beat faster. Someone who knew her mother. Someone who remembered. "What was her name?" the girl asked. "Your granddaughter?" "Lily. She was 9 when she started lessons. Your mother was patient with her. So patient. Lily was not naturally talented. She struggled. But your mother never made her feel bad about it. She just kept encouraging her, kept telling her she could do it." The girl remembered Lily, a small girl with blonde hair and braids. She always arrived early for her lessons. She always said thank you at the end. "Lily stopped playing when we moved to Bristol," Roger continued. "She said it wasn't the same with a different teacher. She missed your mother." He paused. "When we heard about what happened, Lily cried. She wanted to come to the funeral, but we live too far away now." "You heard about it?" the girl asked. "One of the other parents told us, Mrs. Chen. Her son David still lives in the area." Roger looked down at the piano keys. "I'm so very sorry for your loss. Your mother was a special person. She had a gift for teaching, for making children feel safe." The girl felt a tear slide down her cheek. She wiped it away quickly. "Thank you," she whispered. Roger pressed another key, then another. He played a simple scale, up and down. The notes were perfect. "This piano is worth much more than 150 pounds, he said. "You know that, don't you?" The girl shrugged. "I just need it gone." "Why?" Roger asked, not mean, just curious, just gentle. "Because every time I look at it, I remember her. And it hurts." Roger nodded slowly. "I understand that feeling. When my wife died, I got rid of everything. Her clothes, her books, her favorite chair. I thought if I removed all the reminders, the pain would go away." He closed the piano lid carefully. "But it doesn't work that way. The pain doesn't need reminders. It lives inside you whether the things are there or not. The girl said nothing. What could she say? How old are you? Roger asked. 16. And you live here alone? My aunt is staying with me for now. But she has her own life. Her own family. She can't stay forever. Roger walked around the piano slowly. He looked at the bench. At the music book stacked neatly on a shelf nearby. At the certificates on the wall. Awards her mother had won years ago at competitions and exams. Your mother taught for many years, he said. Since before I was born. Did she teach you? The girl hesitated. Yes, she taught me since I was 4 years old. Are you good? I was okay. Not as good as her. She was really good. Roger smiled a little. Lily used to tell me about you. She said you practiced while she had her lesson. In another room. She could hear you through the walls. She said you played like a professional. The girl shook her head. Lily was just being nice. Maybe. Or maybe you don't see yourself clearly. Roger looked at the girl carefully. Do you still play? No, not since she died. Why not? Because it reminds me of her. Everything reminds you of her, Roger said softly. This whole house. This whole life. Playing the piano or not playing the piano won't change that. The girl felt anger suddenly. Who is this old man to tell her what she should feel? What she should do? Are you going to buy the piano or not? Roger did not look offended. He just pulled out his wallet. He counted out money, bills, 20-pound notes. He handed them to the girl. She counted. 200 pounds. The ad said 150, she said. I know what the ad said. I'm giving you 200. And I'm going to ask you one question. If you answer it honestly, the extra 50 pounds is yours. If you can't answer it, you can give me back the 50 and I'll take the piano today. The girl looked at the money in her hand. What's the question? Can you teach? The girl blinked. What? Piano. Can you teach piano? Like your mother did? I'm 16 years old. I'm not a teacher. That's not what I asked. I asked if you can teach. If you know how. If you have the skill. The girl thought about all the lessons she watched. All the times her mother explained things. Showed students how to position their hands. How to read music. How to feel the rhythm. The girl had absorbed it all without even meaning to. I don't know, she said honestly. That's an honest answer, Roger said. Keep the 200 pounds. But I didn't answer your question. Yes, you did. You said you don't know. That's different from saying no. Roger walked toward the door. I'm going to get my van. I'll be back in an hour to collect the piano. That gives you an hour to think. Think about what? Roger stopped at the door. He turned back. About whether you're selling this piano because you need 150 pounds. Or because you're afraid. Afraid of what? Of becoming your mother. Of sitting at that piano and teaching like she did. Of filling this house with music again. He opened the door. 150 pounds will pay the bills for a few weeks. Maybe a month, then what? You sell the furniture? The television? This house? The girl felt defensive. What else am I supposed to do? Nobody will hire me. I have to finish school. Your mother taught from home while you were in school. She worked around your schedule. She made it work. Roger stepped outside. 1 hour. Think about it. Really think about it. He walked away toward his car. The girl stood in the doorway holding 200 pounds. More money than she had held in months. She closed the door and went back to the living room. She sat on the floor in front of the piano. Just sat there, staring at it. Could she teach? She knew music. She knew theory. She knew how to play. But teaching was different. Teaching was patience. Teaching was knowing how to explain things, how to encourage people, how to make them feel good about themselves even when they struggled. Her mother had made it look easy, but it wasn't easy. The girl knew that. She thought about the bills on the kitchen table. The mortgage, the electricity, the water, the council tax, the food. Everything cost money. Everything required money she didn't have. 200 pounds would not last long. Roger was right about that. The girl stood up. She walked to the piano and sat on the bench. She had not sat here in 3 months. The bench felt familiar. Like home. She lifted the lid. The keys looked up at her. Black and white. 88 keys. Each one a different note. Together they made everything. Every song. Every melody. Every feeling. She pressed middle C, the same note Roger had played. It rang out in the empty room. Then she played a scale, C major. Her fingers remembered. They knew where to go. Up and down. Simple, basic. The first thing her mother had ever taught her. The girl kept playing. She played other scales, other simple exercises. Her fingers were stiff at first, clumsy, but they warmed up. They remembered. She opened a book of easy songs. Songs for beginners. She played through one, then another. They were simple, but they were beautiful. That was what her mother always said. Every song is beautiful if you play it with feeling. The girl heard the front door open. Her aunt came in with shopping bags. "Oh my goodness," her aunt said from the hallway. "You're playing?" The girl stopped. "The man is coming back for the piano. In an hour." Her aunt came to the doorway. She had tears in her eyes. "I haven't heard music in this house for so long. I forgot how much I missed it." The girl looked down at the keys. "Roger asked me if I could teach piano like Mum did." Her aunt was quiet for a moment. "Could you?" "I don't know, maybe I know how, but I don't know if I'd be any good at it." Your mother wasn't sure either. When she started, she told me once that her first student cried because she was too nervous. She thought she had ruined everything. But the student came back the next week, and the week after that, and eventually your mother stopped being nervous. The girl had never heard that story. "What are you going to do?" her aunt asked gently. The girl looked at the clock. 40 minutes until Roger came back. 40 minutes to decide. The girl stood up from the piano bench. She walked to the window and looked outside. There was something there, something she had stopped noticing months ago because it had always been there. A small wooden sign hung in the front window. Her mother had made it years ago, hand-painted in neat letters. It said piano lessons, all ages welcome. The girl had forgotten about the sign. It had become invisible to her, like wallpaper, like furniture, just part of the house. But it was still there, still telling the world that this house offered piano lessons. "I never took it down," the girl said quietly. Her aunt came to stand beside her. "Neither did I," her aunt said. "I suppose I thought you might want to keep it, as a memory." The girl touched the glass of the window. On the other side, the sign hung peacefully. How many people had seen it? How many people walked past this house every day and saw that sign and thought about piano lessons? "Roger said 150 pounds would only last a few weeks," the girl said. "He's right. Then what do I do? Sell more things? Get further and further behind on bills?" Her aunt put her hand on the girl's shoulder. "I've been thinking about that too. I could stay longer. Find work here. Help you for another few months. You have your own family. Your own job. You can't just stay here forever taking care of me. Your family too. I know. But this isn't your responsibility. It's mine." The girl looked at her aunt. "Mum would want me to figure this out. To be strong. To be independent." Her aunt nodded slowly. "She would. But she would also want you to be smart. To use your gifts." "What gifts?" "Music, teaching, the things she gave you." Her aunt smiled a little. "You're more like her than you know." The girl turned back to the window. She watched a woman walk past with a small child. The child pointed at something. The woman smiled. Normal life. Normal people. Living their normal days. The girl wanted normal. She wanted to not worry about money every second. She wanted to not feel this heavy weight on her chest all the time. "I'm scared," the girl admitted. "What if I try to teach and I'm terrible at it? What if students come and then leave because I don't know what I'm doing? Then you learn. You get better. That's what your mother did." Her aunt squeezed her shoulder. "But what if you're good at it? What if you're really good at it and you never try?" A car pulled up outside. Roger's van. He was early. The girl's heart started beating fast. Decision time. Roger got out of the van and walked toward the house. He rang the doorbell. The girl answered. "I'm a bit early," Roger said. "I hope that's all right. I wanted to beat the traffic." "It's fine." The girl stepped back to let him in. Roger came inside. He looked at the piano. Then he looked at the girl. "Have you thought about what I said?" "Yes, and?" The girl took a deep breath. "If I keep the piano, if I try to teach, how would I even start? I don't have any students. Mum's students all found other teachers months ago." Roger smiled. "Well, you'd have at least one student, Lily. She would come back if you were teaching." "I know she would." That's one student. One student wouldn't be enough. It's a start. And word spreads. Your mother's other students might come back too if they knew you were teaching. Some of them might not be happy with their new teachers. Some of them might have stopped playing altogether. The girl thought about that. All those kids who used to come here every week. Where were they now? Were they still playing? Or had they given up? I wouldn't know how much to charge, the girl said. Charge what your mother charged. You can change it later if you need to. I wouldn't know how to schedule lessons, how to manage everything. You'd figure it out, one step at a time. Roger put his hands in his pockets. I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't come here just to buy a piano. I came because I remembered your mother. I remembered this house, and when I saw that ad with the price so low, I knew something was wrong. The girl felt tears coming again. Why did this old man care so much? My wife was a teacher, Roger continued. Primary school. She taught for 40 years. When she got sick, when she couldn't work anymore, she was devastated. Not because of the money, because of the children. She felt like she was abandoning them. He paused. The day before she died, she made me promise something. She made me promise to always help teachers, to always support people who give their time to teach others, because teaching is the most important work in the world. The girl wiped her eyes. I'm not a real teacher. I don't have training. I don't have certificates. Your mother taught you for 12 years. That's more training than most people get. And certificates don't make you a good teacher. Caring makes you a good teacher. Patience makes you a good teacher. The girl looked at the piano, then at Roger, then at her aunt who stood in the doorway watching. If I keep the piano, the girl said slowly, would you still want me to have the 200 pounds? For trying, Roger shook his head. No, I'd want you to have 400 pounds, as payment for Lily's first term of lessons. 10 lessons, 40 pounds per lesson. That's what your mother charged, isn't it? The girl's mouth fell open. But she hasn't even had one lesson yet. You don't know if I'll be any good. I'm willing to take that risk. Are you? The girl's mind raced. 400 pounds. That would pay the mortgage for 1 month. It would buy groceries. It would give her time. Time to find more students. Time to see if this could actually work. But what if she failed? What if she disappointed Lily? What if she proved she was nothing like her mother? The girl walked to the piano again. She sat down. She played the opening of a simple song. A song her mother used to play for new students. A song that made them smile. When she finished, she looked up at Roger. When would Lily want to start? Roger's face broke into a huge smile. Next Saturday. Same time as her old lessons. 3 o'clock. Okay? The girl's voice shook. Okay, I'll try. Roger reached into his jacket and pulled out an envelope. He handed it to the girl. 400 pounds. Thank you. You're giving my granddaughter something precious. You're giving her music back. The girl took the envelope with shaking hands. She had never held this much money before. Never. Roger walked to the door. Then he stopped and turned back. One more thing. I know a few other parents. People whose children used to come here. Would you like me to tell them you're teaching again? The girl hesitated, then nodded. Yes, please. Good, expect some phone calls. Roger opened the door. Then he looked at the girl one more time. Your mother would be proud of you. I hope you know that. After he left, the girl just stood there, holding the envelope, staring at the piano. Her aunt came over and hugged her. You made the right choice. I hope so. I know so. Her aunt pulled back and smiled. Now we need to clean this place up. If you're going to teach, you need the house to look professional. We need to dust the piano, organize the music books, maybe put some fresh flowers in the room. The girl looked around. The house was clean, but it was sad. It felt abandoned. It needed to feel alive again. We should open the curtains more, the girl said. Let more light in. Mom always said light was important. She said it helped students feel happy. Her aunt nodded. Good idea. What else? The girl thought. The waiting area. In the hallway. We should put out some chairs, and maybe some magazines, for parents who stay during lessons. Perfect. Anything else? The sign. The girl walked back to the window. She looked at the old wooden sign. We should clean it. Make it look nice. And maybe add something to it. Like what? The girl smiled a little. The first real smile in 3 months. New teacher. Same care. That week was busy. The girl and her aunt cleaned the whole house. They dusted and vacuumed and organized. They made the living room into a proper teaching space. They set up chairs in the hallway. They bought fresh flowers for the piano. The girl took down the old sign and cleaned it carefully. Then she painted new words under the original message. Piano lessons. All ages welcome. New teacher, same care. She hung it back in the window. It looked good. It looked professional. It looked like a real business. On Thursday, the phone rang. A woman's voice. Hello, is this the piano teacher? The girl's heart jumped. Yes, this is she. My name is Mrs. Rodriguez. My son used to take lessons with Helen. We heard you might be teaching now. Is that true? Yes, I'm starting this Saturday. Wonderful. Carlos would love to come back. He's been so unhappy with his new teacher. Could we schedule a lesson? The girl grabbed a notebook and pen. She wrote down the name, the time, the details. Her first student. Her second student, counting Lily. The phone rang again an hour later. Another parent. Another student who wanted to come back. Then again Friday morning. And Friday afternoon. And Friday evening. By Friday night, the girl had 7 students scheduled. 7. In 1 week. She could hardly believe it. Saturday arrived. The girl woke up early. She was too nervous to sleep. She got dressed in nice clothes. A black skirt and a white blouse, professional. Like her mother used to dress for teaching. She went downstairs and sat at the piano. She practiced. She played scales and exercises. She played songs she might teach. She wanted to be ready. At 3 o'clock exactly, the doorbell rang. The girl opened the door. There stood Roger and Lily. Lily was taller now than 4 years ago, 13 years old. She had the same blonde braids, the same shy smile. Hi, Lily said quietly. I'm so happy to be back. Lily walked into the house slowly, like she was entering a church. Her eyes moved around the room, taking everything in. The piano, the flowers, the clean space. It looks the same, Lily said softly. But different too, the girl understood. The house was the same building, the same piano, but everything had changed. The person who made it special was gone. Would you like to sit down? The girl asked. She gestured toward the piano bench. Lily nodded. She walked over and sat down carefully. She looked at the keys but did not touch them. Roger stood by the door. I'll wait in the car. Give you some space, he smiled at the girl. You'll do great. After he left, the girl sat down next to Lily on the bench. It felt strange. She had always been the student. Now she was the teacher. The roles had switched. I'm nervous, Lily admitted. Me too, the girl said honestly. Lily looked at her with surprise. You are? This is my first time teaching. I've never done this before. But you're so good at piano. I remember hearing you play. You were amazing. Playing and teaching are different things. I'm not sure I'll be good at teaching. The girl took a breath. But I'm going to try my best. And I hope you'll be patient with me while I learn. Lily smiled a little. Your mom was patient with me. I'll be patient with you. Something in the girl's chest softened. This was going to be okay, maybe. So, the girl said, tell me about your playing. Have you been practicing since you moved? Lily shook her head. Not really. My new teacher was okay, but I didn't connect with her. After a few months, I just stopped going. I haven't played in almost 2 years. That's all right. We'll start slow. Get your fingers used to the keys again. The girl thought about what her mother would do, how she would begin. Let's start with some scales. Do you remember C major? Lily nodded. She placed her hands on the keys. Right hand thumb on C. She played up the scale. It was slow and a bit clumsy, but it was correct. Good, the girl said. Now try the left hand. Lily switched hands. She played the scale down. She made a mistake on one note but corrected herself. Excellent. You do remember. Your fingers remember even if your brain feels rusty. They practiced scales for a while. Different keys. Different patterns. The girl watched Lily's hands. She noticed when Lily's fingers were too flat. When her wrist was too low. She gently corrected her, showed her the right position. Like this, the girl said, demonstrating. Curved fingers. Like you're holding a small ball. That gives you better control. Lily adjusted her hand position. Oh, that does feel better. They moved on to a simple song. A beginner piece that Lily used to know. She struggled with it at first, forgot the notes, lost the rhythm, got frustrated. I used to be able to play this, Lily said. Her voice was tight, upset. You still can. You just need to practice. It's like learning to ride a bike. At first, when you get back on, you wobble, but after a few minutes, your body remembers. The girl played the song herself, slowly, clearly, so Lily could hear how it was supposed to sound. See, just like that. Now you try again, just the right hand first. Don't worry about the left hand yet. Lily tried again. This time it was better, smoother. She smiled when she got to the end. I did it. You did. Now let's add the left hand. They worked on the song for 20 minutes. By the end, Lily could play it slowly but correctly. Both hands together. The right rhythm. The right notes. That was a good lesson, the girl said. You should practice this song every day this week. At least 10 minutes. Get it smooth. Get it comfortable. Then next week we'll learn something new. Lily stood up from the bench. She looked happier than when she arrived. Thank you. This was really fun. I'm glad. You're a good teacher, just like your mom. The girl felt tears prick her eyes. She blinked them away. Thank you, Lily, that means a lot. Roger came back inside. How did it go? Great, Lily said. She's amazing, Grandpa. I already feel like I'm improving. Roger smiled at the girl. I told you. You're a natural. After they left, the girl sat at the piano alone. She felt shaky, emotional, but also proud. She had done it. She had taught an actual lesson. And it had gone well. Her aunt came into the room. I was listening from the kitchen. You were wonderful. I was terrified the whole time. I couldn't tell. You sounded confident, professional, kind. Her aunt sat down on the couch. Your mother used to be terrified, too. After every lesson, especially in the beginning, she would come into the kitchen and say she wasn't sure she did it right. But she kept doing it, and she got better and better. The girl looked at the piano. I kept thinking about what she would do, how she would explain things, and the words just came. That's because you learned from the best. She trained you, even if you didn't realize it at the time. The next student came on Monday after school. Carlos, a 10-year-old boy with glasses and a serious expression. He had been studying with the girl's mother for 2 years before she died. I didn't like my new teacher, Carlos said immediately. She was mean. I'm sorry to hear that. I hope you'll like learning here. Carlos looked at the piano. Your mom was nice. She never got mad when I made mistakes. I won't get mad either. Mistakes are how we learn. Carlos's lesson went well. He was more advanced than Lily. He was working on harder pieces. The girl had to think carefully about how to help him, but she remembered techniques her mother had used. Counting out loud, practicing hands separately, breaking difficult sections into smaller parts. That makes sense, Carlos said when the girl explained a tricky rhythm. My other teacher just told me to play it faster. That didn't help at all. By the end of the week, the girl had taught 7 lessons, 7 different students, different ages, different skill levels, different personalities. Each lesson was hard. Each lesson made her nervous. But each lesson also made her more confident. She was doing this. She was actually doing this. On Saturday morning, 2 weeks after she almost sold the piano, the girl sat down to count money. She had £400 from Roger, plus the payments from the other 6 students. That was over £600 total. She paid the electricity bill, the water bill. She bought groceries. She put money aside for the mortgage. For the first time in months, she felt like she could breathe. Her aunt came downstairs dressed nicely. I have news. What news? I got a job. Here in town. At the library. It's part-time, but it's something. I can stay with you for a while longer. Help with the house. Help with bills. Until you're more stable. The girl hugged her aunt tight. Thank you. Thank you so much. We're family. We take care of each other. Her aunt pulled back. But you're doing the hard part. You're the one teaching. You're the one keeping your mother's dream alive. That afternoon, the girl had 3 lessons scheduled. The last one was a new student. Someone she had never met before. A woman had called and asked if the girl taught adults. Yes, the girl had said. I teach all ages. The woman arrived at 4 o'clock. She was in her 30s, wearing business clothes. She looked nervous. I've always wanted to learn piano, the woman said. But I never had the chance when I was young. My parents couldn't afford it. It's never too late to start, the girl said. She remembered her mother saying those exact words to adult students. The woman's name was Rachel. She sat at the piano like it might break, like she was afraid to touch it. I don't know anything, Rachel said. I don't even know where middle C is. That's okay. Everyone starts somewhere. The girl pointed to the keys. This is middle C, right in the middle of the piano. Everything else builds from here. They spent the hour on basics. Note names, hand position, simple rhythms. Rachel was a slow learner, but she was determined. She wrote everything down in a notebook. She asked questions. She practiced each thing until she got it right. This is harder than I thought, Rachel said at the end. But she was smiling. But also more fun. You did great for a first lesson. Practice what we learned this week. Even just 5 minutes a day. That's all you need. After Rachel left, the girl's phone rang. Another parent wanting to schedule lessons. Then another call. Then another. By Sunday night, the girl had 12 students scheduled. 12. She could hardly believe it. She sat at the kitchen table with her aunt and made a schedule, Monday through Friday after school. Saturday mornings and afternoons. She had to be careful not to book too many. She still needed time for homework. Time for her own practice. This is real, her aunt said, looking at the schedule. You're really doing this. I'm really doing this, the girl repeated. It still felt like a dream. That night, the girl went to her mother's room. She had avoided this room for 3 months. It hurt too much. But tonight she felt strong enough. She opened the door. Everything was still the same. The bed made. The books on the nightstand. The photos on the dresser. The girl walked to the dresser and looked at the photos. Her mother at her piano recital years ago. Her mother with students. Her mother smiling. The girl opened the top drawer. Inside were papers. Old lesson plans. Student progress notes. Her mother had kept detailed records of every student. At the bottom of the drawer was a small notebook. The girl picked it up and opened it. It was a journal. Her mother's handwriting filled the pages. The girl flipped to a random page. It was dated 5 years ago. Today I taught a student who was struggling. She wanted to quit. She said she wasn't good enough. 3 months passed. Winter came. The days got shorter and colder. But inside the house there was warmth. There was music. The girl now had 18 students. 18 people who came every week to learn piano. Children and teenagers and adults. Beginners and intermediate players. Each one different. Each one special. She learned their names. Their personalities. Their struggles and strengths. She learned who needed encouragement and who needed challenge. Who learned by listening and who learned by reading music. Who was confident and who was shy. Carlos was getting ready for his first exam. He practiced every day. Sometimes he would stay after his lesson to ask questions, to play his pieces one more time, to make sure he was ready. You're going to do great, the girl told him. You've worked so hard. I'm scared I'll mess up. Even if you make mistakes, you'll do great. The exam isn't about being perfect. It's about showing what you've learned. Lily was learning more advanced pieces now. She had caught up to where she was before she moved. And she was improving fast. I want to perform someday, Lily told the girl. Like your mom did. I want to play for people. Then we'll work toward that. Maybe we can organize a student recital. In the spring. Lily's eyes went wide. Really? That would be amazing. Rachel, the adult beginner, was the most dedicated student the girl had ever seen. She practiced every single day. She came to lessons with pages of questions written in her notebook. She was hungry for knowledge. Music has changed my life, Rachel told the girl. I work in an office all day. Numbers and spreadsheets and stress. But when I come home and practice piano, everything else disappears. It's like therapy. The girl smiled. That's what my mother used to say. Music heals. The money situation improved. The girl could pay all the bills now. She even started saving a little bit each month. Her aunt's job at the library helped too. Together they were managing. But more than the money, the girl felt purpose. She felt connected to something bigger than herself. Every time she taught a lesson, she felt her mother's presence. Guiding her, helping her, showing her the way. One December afternoon, something unexpected happened. The doorbell rang during a break between lessons. The girl answered it. A woman stood there. She was elegant, well-dressed. She had gray hair pulled back in a neat bun. She looked familiar somehow, but the girl could not place her. "Hello," the woman said. "I'm sorry to drop by unannounced. My name is Catherine. I used to know your mother, many years ago. Please come in." The girl stepped aside. Catherine entered and looked around. Her eyes fell on the piano. Helen's piano. "I remember when she bought this. We went shopping together. She was so excited. You knew my mother. We studied together. At the Royal College of Music. We were both piano students." Catherine walked closer to the piano. "We used to practice together for hours, competing with each other, pushing each other to be better." The girl's heart beat faster. Her mother rarely talked about her time at music college. "What happened? Why didn't you stay in touch?" Catherine looked sad. "Life happened. After college, I went one direction. Performing, touring, competitions. Your mother went another direction, teaching, building a life here. We lost touch. I always meant to reach out, but years passed. Why are you here now?" "I saw something online. A post in a music teacher forum. Someone mentioned that Helen's daughter was teaching now, using the same studio. Continuing the legacy." Catherine turned to look at the girl. "I had to come see for myself, to see if it was true." "It's true. I teach 18 students now." Catherine smiled. "That's wonderful. Your mother would be so proud. She always said teaching was the most important work she could do. More important than performing. More important than fame or recognition." She said that all the time, especially near the end of college. Some of us were obsessed with becoming famous pianists. Concert halls, recordings, reviews, but Helen just wanted to teach. She said that teaching one child to love music was worth more than 1,000 standing ovations. The girl felt tears come to her eyes. "I didn't know that. She was special. One of a kind." Catherine paused. "I came here to ask you something. I hope you don't think I'm overstepping." "What is it?" "I organize a youth music festival every spring. Young pianists from all over London come to perform. It's not a competition, just a celebration of music, a chance for students to share their talent." Catherine looked at the girl carefully. "I would love for your students to participate. If you think they're ready." The girl's mind raced. A festival. Her students performing. It was exciting and terrifying at the same time. "I don't know. Some of them have never performed in public before." "That's okay. The festival is supportive, friendly, no judges, no prizes, just music and encouragement." Catherine pulled out a card from her purse. "Think about it. The festival is in April. You have time to prepare, and if you decide to participate, call me. I'll make sure your students have spots." After Catherine left, the girl sat at the piano. She thought about what Catherine had said, about her mother choosing teaching over fame, choosing to share music instead of hoarding it for herself. That evening, during Lily's lesson, the girl mentioned the festival. "There's a youth music festival in April. Would you be interested in performing?" Lily's face lit up. "Yes, absolutely. I would love that. It's a big step. You'd be playing in front of people, other musicians, families, teachers. I know, but I think I'm ready. And if I'm not ready now, I'll be ready by April." Lily looked at the girl with determination. "Your mom always said that we should share our music, not keep it to ourselves, right?" The girl smiled. "Right." Over the next few weeks, the girl talked to all her students. She told them about the festival. She explained what it would involve. Preparation, practice, performance. 10 students said yes. They wanted to do it. They wanted to perform. The girl created a plan. Each student would pick a piece. They would spend the next 3 months perfecting it. They would practice performing for each other. They would build confidence. Carlos picked a classical piece by Bach. Lily chose a romantic piece by Chopin. Rachel, the adult beginner, picked a simple folk song. Each person chose something that meant something to them. The house became even more busy. Students stayed after lessons to practice. They came early to listen to each other. They gave each other feedback and encouragement. The girl organized practice performances in the living room. Students would play for each other. It was nerve-wracking at first. Some students shook. Some made mistakes. Some had to start over. But with each practice performance, they got better, more confident, more comfortable. "This is what music is about," the girl told them. "Not perfection, connection, sharing something beautiful with others." One night in January, the girl's phone rang. It was Roger. "I heard about the festival," he said. "Lily told me. She's very excited. I'm excited too. A little nervous, but excited. I have a question for you. Would you be willing to perform as well?" The girl's stomach dropped. "What? No, I'm the teacher." "Not a performer. You're both. Your mother was both. She taught, but she also performed. She played in recitals. She showed her students that she was still learning, still growing, still challenging herself. I haven't performed in years, not since before she died. Then maybe it's time. Your students would love to see you play. It would inspire them, show them that even teachers get nervous. Even teachers have to practice and prepare." The girl thought about it for a long time after the call ended. Could she perform? Could she stand in front of people and play? The next day, she talked to her aunt about it. "Roger thinks I should perform at the festival." "With the students?" Her aunt smiled. "I think that's a wonderful idea." "I'm terrified." "Of course you are. But you're also ready. You play every day. You're good, really good." The girl went to her mother's room again. She opened the drawer and took out the journal. She read the entries again, looking for guidance, looking for strength. She found an entry from years ago that made her stop. "Today I performed at a small recital. I was so nervous I almost canceled. But I went. And I made mistakes. I lost my place in one piece. I had to stop and start over. I thought I had failed. But after a young girl came up to me, she said, 'Thank you for showing me that even professionals make mistakes.' That made it all worth it." The girl closed the journal. She knew what she had to do. The next week, she announced to her students, "I'm going to perform at the festival too. I'll be playing with all of you." The students cheered. They clapped. They were excited. Carlos grinned. "What are you going to play?" The girl thought about it. Then she knew. A piece my mother used to play. One of her favorites. A nocturne by Chopin. It was the same piece she had played the first time she sat at the piano after her mother died. The piece that made her remember why she loved music. She started practicing every day. After all the lessons were done. After dinner. After homework. She would sit at the piano and play that nocturne. Over and over. Working through the difficult sections. Getting it smooth. Getting it beautiful. Her aunt would sit and listen. Sometimes crying quietly. Sometimes smiling. "She would be so proud of you," her aunt said one night. "Not just for teaching. For living. For not giving up. For choosing to keep going even when it was hard." The girl kept practicing. Kept teaching. Kept growing. February came. Then March. The festival was getting closer. The students were getting better. More prepared. More excited. One afternoon, a man came to the door. He was young. Maybe 30 years old. He wore jeans and a leather jacket. He looked like a musician. "Hi," he said. "I'm looking for the piano teacher." "Is that you?" "Yes. Do you want to sign up for lessons?" The man smiled. "No, I'm here about something else. I'm a producer. I work with young musicians. I heard about your studio, about what you're doing here. Teaching, organizing performances, continuing your mother's work." The girl felt confused. "How did you hear about that?" "Catherine told me. She's a friend. She's very impressed with you. With your students." The man paused. "I'd like to come to the festival. Watch your students perform, if that's okay with you." "Why?" "Because good teaching is rare. Passionate teaching is even rarer. I think what you're doing here matters. And I want to support it." The girl did not know what to say. "Okay, you're welcome to come." The man handed her a card. "I'm Daniel. Call me if you ever need anything. Equipment, advice, connections. I believe in supporting music education." After he left, the girl looked at the card. Daniel Morrison. Music producer. Morrison. The same last name as her mother. The same last name as her. That night she looked him up online. Daniel Morrison. He had produced albums for famous musicians. He had worked with orchestras. He had won awards. But what caught her attention was an old interview she found. From 10 years ago, in the interview, Daniel mentioned his sister. "My sister was a pianist, one of the best I've ever heard. She could have been famous. But she chose to teach instead. She said teaching was more important than fame. I didn't understand it then. But I do now. She changed hundreds of lives. That's worth more than any record deal." The girl's hands shook as she read. Daniel Morrison was her uncle, her mother's brother. A brother she never knew about. A brother who had been watching, waiting, caring from a distance. She picked up the phone and called the number on the card. Daniel answered. Hello, this is the piano teacher. From the studio. I just realized who you are. There was a pause. I was wondering if you would figure it out. Why didn't you tell me? Because I wanted you to know me as Daniel the producer first, not Daniel your uncle. I wanted you to trust me for what I could offer. Not because of blood. The girl felt tears come. Why now? Why not 3 months ago? Why not when she died? Daniel's voice was sad. Because your mother and I had a complicated relationship. We didn't speak much in the last years. It was my fault. I was young and stupid and I thought success was more important than family. When she got sick, I tried to reconnect, but I was too late. She died before I could apologize. He paused. I came now because Catherine told me you were teaching, continuing what she built, and I wanted to help. If you'll let me. The girl wiped her eyes. I don't know what to say. Say you'll keep teaching. Say you'll keep making music. Say you'll let me be part of your life now, even though I wasn't before. The girl thought about her mother's journal, about forgiveness, about second chances, about family. Okay, she said quietly. You can come to the festival. April arrived with warm sunshine and blooming flowers. The day of the festival came faster than the girl expected. She woke up early with butterflies in her stomach. Today was the day. Today her students would perform. Today she would perform. The festival was at a community hall in central London, a beautiful old building with high ceilings and wooden floors. Catherine had reserved a time slot for the girl's studio. 11 o'clock. 10 students would play, and the girl would close the performance with her nocturne. The girl arrived at 9 o'clock to check the space. The hall was already filling with people, parents, teachers, musicians, everyone excited for the day ahead. Catherine found her immediately. There you are. Are you ready? I'm terrified, the girl admitted. Good, that means you care. Catherine smiled warmly. Come, let me show you the stage. The stage was simple. A beautiful grand piano in the center, chairs arranged in rows for the audience, a small table with water bottles for the performers. Your students can wait backstage, Catherine explained. When it's their turn, they'll walk out, perform, and walk off. Simple and straightforward. No pressure. The girls' students started arriving at 10 o'clock. They came with their families, parents and siblings and grandparents, everyone dressed nicely, everyone nervous and excited. Carlos wore a suit. His first suit ever. His mother was crying already. I'm so proud of him, she whispered to the girl. Lily came with Roger. She wore a blue dress and had her hair down for the first time. She looked older, more mature, more confident. Rachel came alone, but she was smiling. I never thought I'd perform piano. 6 months ago, I didn't even know where Middle C was. This is incredible. The other students gathered backstage. They were all nervous. Some paced back and forth. Some practiced on an electric keyboard in the corner. Some just sat quietly, eyes closed, visualizing their performance. The girl gathered them together. I want to say something before we start. I'm proud of all of you, not just for learning your pieces, for being brave, for choosing to share your music with others. That takes courage, real courage. The students nodded. Some wiped away tears. When you go out there, remember why you're playing. You're not playing for judges. You're not playing for prizes. You're playing because music is beautiful, because music connects us, because music is worth sharing. The girl paused. My mother taught me that. Now I'm teaching you, and someday you'll teach someone else. At 11 o'clock, Catherine introduced the studio. Our next performance comes from the Helen Morrison Memorial Studio. These students are taught by Helen's daughter, who has continued her mother's beautiful legacy of music education. Please welcome them. The audience clapped. The girl felt her heart squeeze at the words. Memorial Studio. She had never thought of it that way, but it was true. This was her mother's memorial. Living students. Living music. Carlos went first. He walked onto the stage looking small but determined. He sat at the grand piano, adjusted the bench, placed his hands on the keys, took a deep breath. Then he played. His Bach piece was clean and precise. He made one small mistake in the middle but recovered beautifully. When he finished, the audience clapped enthusiastically. Carlos stood up, bowed, and walked off stage with a huge grin. "I did it!" he whispered to the girl backstage. "You were wonderful," she told him. Student after student performed. Each one brought something different to the stage. Different styles, different emotions, different stories told through music. A shy 8-year-old girl played a simple folk song. Her hands shook, but she finished. The audience gave her a standing ovation. A teenage boy played a jazzy piece he had arranged himself. He added his own improvisations, made the audience laugh with his playful style. An older woman, another adult beginner, played a hymn that her mother used to sing. She cried while playing, but didn't stop. The audience cried with her. Then it was Lily's turn. She walked onto the stage with her head high. She sat at the piano with grace, and she played her Chopin piece with such feeling, such emotion, that the entire hall went silent. When she finished, there was a long pause. Then the audience erupted in applause. People stood. Some shouted, "Bravo!" Lily bowed deeply and walked off stage glowing. "That was incredible," Roger told her, hugging her tight. "Your best performance yet." Finally, it was Rachel's turn. The adult beginner who had only started 6 months ago. She walked onto the stage looking nervous but determined. She sat at the piano and announced into the microphone, "I'm playing this song for everyone who thinks it's too late to start. It's never too late. I'm 34 years old and I'm learning piano, and it's the best decision I ever made." The audience clapped before she even started playing. Her folk song was simple, basic, but she played it with such joy that it didn't matter. When she finished, she had tears running down her face. Happy tears. "Thank you," she said into the microphone. "Thank you to my teacher for believing in me." Now it was the girl's turn. The last performance from her studio. Catherine announced her. "And finally, the teacher herself will perform. Please welcome Helen's daughter to the stage." The girl walked out. The stage suddenly felt enormous. The audience looked like hundreds of people. Her legs shook. Her hands were sweaty. She sat at the piano. She looked out at the audience. She saw her students in the front row, all of them watching her, supporting her, believing in her. She saw her aunt, crying happy tears. She saw Daniel, her uncle, sitting near the back, smiling with pride. She saw Roger and Lily, Catherine, Rachel, Carlos, all the parents, all the families. And for just a moment she felt her mother's presence, right there beside her at the piano, like she had been every day of the girl's life. The girl placed her hands on the keys. She took a deep breath, and she began to play. The nocturne flowed out of her fingers like water, soft and gentle at first, then building with emotion. She played through the difficult sections without hesitation. She played with feeling, with heart, with everything she had. She made no mistakes. She lost herself in the music, in the moment, in the beauty of the sound filling the hall. When she finished the final notes, she held the last chord. Let it ring out. Let it fade slowly into silence. Then the audience exploded. People stood. They clapped. They cheered. Some cried. The applause went on and on. The girl stood and bowed. She looked at her students. They were on their feet, clapping harder than anyone. Proud of their teacher, she walked off stage and was immediately surrounded. Her students hugged her. Their parents thanked her. Catherine congratulated her. Daniel approached, and for the first time, uncle and niece embraced. "Your mother would be so proud," he whispered. "I'm proud. You're extraordinary." Roger came over with Lily. "That was magnificent. Truly magnificent. You're not just a good teacher. You're a brilliant pianist." The girl shook her head. "I'm just continuing what my mother started." "No," Catherine said, joining the group. "You're creating something new. Building on her foundation but making it yours. That's even better." After the festival ended, the girl and her students went to a cafe nearby. They celebrated together, eating cake, drinking tea, laughing about nervous moments and proud moments. "Can we do this again next year?" Carlos asked. "Absolutely," the girl said. "This will be an annual tradition." "I want to learn a harder piece," Lily said. "Something really challenging." "Me too," said another student. They all started talking about next year, about what pieces they would learn, about how much they would improve, about performing again. The girl listened to them and felt overwhelming gratitude. 6 months ago, she had been ready to sell her mother's piano for £150, ready to give up, ready to let the music die. Now she had a studio, Students, a community, a purpose. That evening, back at home, Daniel came to visit. He brought Chinese food for dinner. He sat with the girl and her aunt, and they talked for hours. "I want to help you," Daniel said. "I want to invest in your studio, get you better equipment, help you expand, maybe even help you get a better piano, a grand piano." The girl looked at her mother's upright piano in the living room. "I love that piano. It's special. Keep it, but add a grand piano too, for performances. For advanced students." Daniel smiled. "I have connections. I can get you a good deal." "Why are you doing this?" the girl asked. "Is it guilt? Because you and Mum didn't speak?" Daniel was quiet for a moment. "Maybe partly, but mostly because I believe in what you're doing. Music education is dying in this country. Funding is being cut. Teachers are undervalued. But here you are, 16 years old, teaching, inspiring, changing lives. That's rare. That's special. That deserves support." The girl felt tears come again. She seemed to cry a lot these days. But they were good tears. Grateful tears. "Thank you," she said, "for coming back. For caring. For helping." "Thank you for letting me," Daniel replied. That night, the girl sat at her mother's piano one more time. She played the nocturne again. Quieter this time, just for herself. She thought about the journey. From almost selling the piano to performing on stage. From having no students to having 10. From feeling lost to finding purpose. She thought about her mother. About the journal. About the lessons her mother had taught her. Not just music lessons. Life lessons. Share your gifts. Don't keep them to yourself. Be brave, be kind, be patient. Keep going even when it's hard. The girl opened her mother's journal to the last page. The page she had read months ago. She read it again. "The music doesn't have to die with me. It can live on through her." The girl picked up a pen. She turned to a blank page, and she wrote her own entry. "Dear Mum, today I performed your favorite nocturne. I played it for a hall full of people. I wasn't perfect, but I was brave, just like you taught me to be. I have 10 students now. Soon I'll have more. They're learning, growing, loving music. Because of you. Because of what you built. Because of what you taught me. The music didn't die with you. It's alive. It's growing. It's spreading to new people every day. I'm going to keep teaching. Keep sharing. Keep honoring your memory. Not by being sad, but by being joyful. By doing what you loved. By continuing your work. Thank you for everything. Thank you for believing in me. Even when I didn't believe in myself. I love you, always. Your daughter." The girl closed the journal. She wiped her eyes. She smiled. Tomorrow there would be more lessons. More students. More music, more life. But tonight she just sat at the piano. In the quiet house. In the presence of her mother's memory. And she felt at peace. 1 year later, the girl was 17. The studio had grown to 25 students. The house was always full of music now. Different levels. Different ages. Different dreams. But all connected by the same love for piano. Daniel had kept his promise. He helped her get a second piano. A beautiful grand piano. It sat in what used to be the dining room. The girl used it for advanced students and for her own practice. But she kept her mother's upright piano in the living room. That piano would always be for beginners, for first lessons, for new starts. Her aunt had found a flat nearby, but she still came for dinner twice a week. She still helped with bills and paperwork. She still was family. The girl was finishing her last year of school. She had good grades. She could have gone to university. But she knew what she wanted to do. She wanted to teach, full-time, make it her career, her life. One afternoon in late spring, Catherine called. "I have something to show you. Can I come by tomorrow?" Of course. Catherine arrived the next day carrying a large folder. She looked excited, nervous, like she had a secret. "Sit down," Catherine said. "I need to tell you something. Something I should have told you a year ago." The girl sat on the couch. Her heart started beating faster. Catherine opened the folder. Inside were old programs, concert programs, from the 1980s. From when Catherine and the girl's mother were young. "Your mother and I performed together many times," Catherine said. "At school, at competitions, at small recitals around London. We were good, both of us. Really good. I know. Mum told me about her performing days. Did she tell you about the Royal Festival Hall? The girl's eyes widened. She performed there? Yes, April 1981, we both did. It was a showcase for emerging artists, young pianists who showed promise. Your mother played Chopin and Debussy. I played Rachmaninoff. Catherine pulled out a program. This was the program from that day. The girl took it with shaking hands. There was her mother's name, printed officially. Helen Morrison, Royal Festival Hall. Look at the back, Catherine said quietly. The girl turned it over. There was handwriting, notes. She recognized her mother's handwriting immediately. Today changed everything. He was there, in the back row. I didn't know until after. He came backstage and told me something I'll never forget. He said, music we keep to ourselves dies with us. Music we share lives forever. He was right. I'm not going to chase fame anymore. I'm going to teach. I'm going to share music with children. That's more important. That's my calling now. The girl looked up at Catherine. Who was there? Who told her that? Catherine pulled out another piece of paper. A newspaper clipping, yellowed with age. It was an article about the concert. A review. The girl read it. The reviewer mentioned several performers. Mentioned her mother. Said she showed promise. Said she played with emotion and skill. But at the bottom of the article was a small note. An aside, almost like gossip. Of particular interest was the surprise attendance of Freddie Mercury, lead singer of Queen, who was spotted in the back row. Mercury, known for his love of classical music, apparently stayed for the entire showcase. He was seen speaking with several of the young performers afterward. The girl's hands started shaking. Freddie Mercury? The Freddie Mercury. Catherine nodded. Your mother never name-dropped. Never told people. She thought it was private, sacred, but yes, Freddie Mercury came to her performance, spoke to her afterward, changed her life with a few words. The girl couldn't breathe. Freddie Mercury, one of the greatest performers who ever lived, had listened to her mother play piano, had encouraged her. Why didn't she tell me? Because she didn't want the story to be about him. She wanted the story to be about the lesson, about sharing music, about teaching being valuable. Catherine smiled. She was humble. Too humble sometimes. The girl read the article again and again, trying to imagine it. Her mother, young, nervous, playing Chopin on a big stage, and Freddie Mercury in the audience, listening, appreciating, understanding. There's more, Catherine said. She pulled out another paper. This is from a magazine interview with Brian May, the guitarist from Queen. It was published in 1995. The girl took it. It was a long interview about music and inspiration. Near the end, there was a question about Freddie Mercury's love of classical music. Brian May's answer made the girl's heart stop. Freddie loved piano. He had classical training as a child. He never lost that love. I remember once in the early 80s he dragged me to some afternoon concert at Festival Hall. Young pianists, emerging artists. I thought it would be boring. But Freddie was mesmerized. Afterward, he insisted on going backstage. He talked to this one young woman, a pianist who played Chopin. He told her something he used to say a lot, about sharing your gift, not hoarding it. He said she reminded him of his own piano teacher from when he was young, someone who taught for love, not fame. He was very moved by her playing. The girl put the paper down. Tears streamed down her face. Her mother had been touched by one of the greatest musicians in history, and instead of using that moment for fame or recognition, she had turned it into a teaching philosophy, a way of life. Why are you showing me this now? The girl asked Catherine. Because you need to know. Your mother made a choice that day. She could have pursued fame. She had the talent. She had the skill. She could have been a concert pianist. But she chose something else. She chose teaching, and that choice changed hundreds of lives, including yours. Catherine pulled out one more document. After your performance at the festival last year, I reached out to some people. Music journalists, historians, people who study British music education. I told them about your mother, about what she built, about what you're continuing. She handed the girl a magazine, a music education magazine. The cover story was titled, The Legacy of Helen Morrison, How One Teacher's Philosophy Continues Through Her Daughter. The girl opened it. There was a full article, photos of her mother, photos of the studio, photos of the girl teaching, interviews with former students. With current students, with Catherine, with Daniel. The article told her mother's story, the Royal Festival Hall performance, the conversation with Freddie Mercury, the decision to teach, the 20 years of lessons, the hundreds of students, the impact, and it told the girl's story too, how she almost sold the piano, how Roger convinced her to try teaching, how the studio had grown, how she was continuing the legacy. At the end of the article was a quote from one of her mother's former students, now an adult, now a music teacher himself. Helen Morrison taught me more than piano. She taught me that success isn't measured by fame or money. It's measured by the lives you touch, the knowledge you share, the joy you spread. I became a teacher because of her, and now I teach with the same philosophy. Share the music. Don't keep it to yourself. Let it live. The girl closed the magazine. She couldn't speak. She just cried. Catherine hugged her. Your mother's legacy isn't just you. It's every student she taught. Every student you teach. Every student they teach. It's a chain. An unbroken chain of music and love and sharing. That's immortality. That's what matters. After Catherine left, the girl sat at her mother's upright piano. The piano she almost sold for £150. The piano that had been the center of her mother's world. The piano that was now the center of her world. She thought about that day. The day Roger came. The day he asked if she could teach. The day that changed everything. She thought about Freddie Mercury. About the words he spoke to her mother 40 years ago. Words that shaped a life. Words that were now shaping her life too. Music we keep to ourselves dies with us. Music we share lives forever. The girl understood now. Really understood. Teaching wasn't just a job. It wasn't just a way to pay bills. It was a calling. A responsibility, a gift. Every student who walked through her door was a chance for the music to continue. To grow, to spread, to touch new lives. She opened the notebook. Her mother's journal. She turned to the page where she had written her own entry a year ago. She read it, smiled. Then she turned to a new blank page. Dear Mom, today I learned the truth about that day at the Royal Festival Hall. About Freddie Mercury. About the words he said to you. About the choice you made. I understand now why you never told me. Why you kept it private. Because the story was never about meeting someone famous. It was about learning a lesson. A lesson you lived every day. A lesson you taught me without words. Share your gifts. Don't keep them to yourself. Be generous with your knowledge. Be patient with those who are learning. Value teaching above everything else. I'm living that lesson now. Every day. Every student. Every lesson. I'm sharing what you shared with me. And someday my students will share with others. And the music will keep living. Forever. Thank you for showing me the way. Thank you for choosing teaching. Thank you for choosing me. I love you. Always your daughter. The next day, a new student came for a trial lesson. A young boy, 7 years old, shy, nervous. His mother explained that he had learning difficulties, that other teachers had turned him away, that she didn't know if he could learn piano, but he loved music so much. The girl smiled at the boy. She thought about what her mother would do, what Freddie Mercury had taught her mother, what her mother had taught her. Come sit at the piano. The girl said gently, Let me show you middle C. Everyone can learn music. Everyone has music inside them. We just have to find it. The boy sat at the piano. The girl showed him the keys, showed him how to press them gently, how to make a beautiful sound. The boy played middle C. The note rang out clear and pure. He smiled, really smiled. His whole face lit up. That's beautiful, the girl told him. You're going to be great. I can tell. His mother started crying. Thank you. Thank you for giving him a chance. The girl looked at her mother's piano, at the room full of music books and memories and hope, at this little boy who just wanted to learn. This is what we do here, the girl said. We give chances. We share music. We change lives. The boy came back the next week, and the week after that, and the week after that. He struggled. He worked hard, but he kept coming. He kept trying. He kept loving music. 6 months later, he played his first complete song, a simple folk tune, just 2 hands, just basic notes. But he played it with such pride, such joy, such accomplishment. His mother cried. The girl cried. The boy smiled. Can I play it again, he asked. As many times as you want, the girl said. He played it 5 more times. each time getting a little smoother, a little more confident, a little more beautiful. That night, the girl sat at the piano. She played the nocturne, her mother's favorite, the piece she had performed at the festival, the piece that connected her to her mother, to Freddie Mercury, to the long chain of musicians and teachers and students who share the gift of music. She played it perfectly, not because she was trying to be perfect, but because she understood it now, really understood it, the emotion, the meaning, the purpose. When she finished, she spoke out loud, to her mother, to the empty room, to the universe. I almost sold your piano for 150 pounds. Thank God I didn't. Thank God Roger came. Thank God you taught me everything I needed to know. Thank God for Freddie Mercury. Thank God for music. Thank God for second chances. Thank God for this life. She closed the piano lid gently. Tomorrow there would be more students, more lessons, more music, more life. But tonight she just sat in the quiet, in the peace, in the gratitude. The music we share lives forever. And her mother's music was living. Through her students, through every note played, through every lesson taught, through every life touched forever. The end.